We're doing a quick episode today because one of my manifestations has came true, and I'm going on vacation and I'm taking my kids to Disney World. Now, at the beginning of the year, I put out a bunch of manifestations on a piece of paper and I burned them, sent them out, and almost all of them have came true. Am I paying for this? No. But that doesn't matter. Okay, the universe has a way of like sending in your manifestations without it all being you, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going on vacation. I still wanted to get on here and give something to the people, to the podcast, because I love you guys so much. And every day this podcast is growing, momentum is going. There is like, if you want to do something like this or anything in your reality of what you're like my dream, job, my dream kind of living, do you know it's out there? All you have to do is step into it. That's it. All you have to do is step into it. There would be no podcast, there would be no momentum, there would be no views gaining momentum if I wasn't posting. I had to, there was a huge moment for me where I thought everything had to be perfect and I had to have all the editing and I had to have all these things, and eventually I was just circling around of like all these things I had to, wanted to do instead of just doing it. I thought it was like, yeah, I'm building all this motion, but that's all it was. It was just motion. Action is what you need to step into that new life. So anyway, back to my story time a little bit. I talk to people every single day, and I also am a health and wellness coach. So I talk to my clients daily. Collectively, everything I have been talking to the people I talk to and my clients is that everybody's kind of in this like phase where they're nervous to step into that new life. They feel just weighted down. They feel pulled down by the life they're currently living right now. And I want to go into that, one of my clients was like, I don't know how you do it. Like, you're so brave. There was a point I was just like you, where I was scared. I was nervous. I thought it had to be perfect. I wanted it to be done, XYZ or this way. All of that stuff was stopping me from stepping into it. Now, what happens when you step into that new life, you're like, it's uncomfortable. That is where you grow the most. I want to say it again. That's where you grow the most, is in the uncomfortable times. That's where you learn about yourself. That's where you really understand, what the next parts and pieces of your path are. It's sitting in it. So many of us are scared and terrified to go outside our comfort zone because we don't want to be laughed at. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be, I've been on TikTok lately, Alexis Kelsey 1313, in case you want to know. I've been on TikTok lately and I just made one. I know I'm late to social media, but there's this clown, Pennywise, and he's dancing, and the background are people, saying me posting with, 2 views, or me posting with 12 likes. And basically everybody else is like, why do you post just to have 2 views? That right there, you are building the momentum for it to gain. Now, gain notice, right? But I want to say, without it being there, you don't gain momentum. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to put it out there and get 1 view. You have to put it out there and get 2 likes. And you have to sit in that uncomfortable period. There's nothing embarrassing about chasing your dreams. There's nothing, that needs to be perfect to actually start making action towards those dreams. There's nothing to be nervous or scared of. If you really think about it and you go within and you think, why do I feel embarrassed, or why am I nervous to post these things? You're worried about the outside people. You're worried about being judged. You're worried about what your family will think. You're worried about being ridiculed, being embarrassed, people laughing at you. But who are they? They're laughing at you, quote unquote. If they are, what are they doing with their life? Are they brave enough to step into something that they don't know, an uncomfortable period, to chase their dreams? No. You know what they're doing? They're laughing at you, but on the inside, they're wondering, how you had the courage to be so brave, how you had the courage to get on here and post for 1 like or post for 2 views. I sat on YouTube. I think I started this channel in 2022. That was my first kind of pull and call to YouTube, right? I get on there. You're gonna laugh, but I started doing tarot readings. That's how my YouTube started. I wanted to get comfortable with public speaking. I was really into tarot at the time. It was just, part of my journey. I don't do them anymore, but I absolutely could give you a reading if you want to. I have a lot of experience in it, but it makes me laugh now because I was brave back then, but it was so uncomfortable for me. I was like, man, I don't know. And that's another thing. You have to fail to grow. You have to fail to grow. I tried so many things on YouTube, on Facebook, on, I have a Soul Intentions kitchen page where I really want to do plant-based food because I went vegan and it's really, near and dear to my heart. Plants changed my whole life. I have the podcast, I have YouTube, I'm a health and wellness coach. I have all these things, and it's like, I was talking to somebody, just the other day that, from the outside looking in, the people that have always seen me as that older version, like we talked about in the last episode, the people that have only seen me as that older version, they refuse to see the new version because they're just stuck on, she just can't be growing. She can't be flourishing in life. She never has. So, in their perception. So what is she doing? She just can't be doing all that. It's just impossible because I only know her as that old version. But I'm saying, on the outside looking in, when I'm trying all these things, I'm failing left and right. Fail. Depending on how you look at it. Yes, I looked at it as failing in the beginning, and I beat myself up about it, and I was like, oh, I'm not good at this. I look ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I gained like bravery in the midst of that to try again, something different, try again. And now we're here. And I feel so like in alignment with my purpose in life. I feel so confident. I feel so just like magnetic to any and everything that I want. I really do. But to get here, I had to fail a lot of times. And from the outside looking in, this is what I was saying to the person I was talking to. From the outside looking in, they just laughed at me of, oh, what's she doing now? Oh, what's she doing next? That failed. They're counting my failures. Okay. They're waiting on me to fail. And so on the outside looking in, they think I'm probably a hot mess express, this and that. But on the inside, on my reality, do you know how much I was learning about myself? Do you know how brave I was to continue to get up and try again until I found my thing? Most people, if not all, fail once and they beat themselves up and they do not get back up again. They go back to their corner. I like to use a lot of analogies or terms, so to speak. So I talk a lot to a lot of different people, and I say, that old version of me would cower down and like go back to my corner the second I felt uncomfortable that around somebody that I felt like I needed to suppress myself to fit their version, their perception of me. Family was a big one for me. I could never be myself around them. I just never could. As soon as I would get around, I would quiet down. I wouldn't really say much. I wouldn't really talk because I'm just different, and they've always like said it. Growing up, I remember it, as when I was just little, I liked basketball shorts. I was your tomboy, so to speak. And I just was ridiculed up and down by my family. They thought I was going to be gay. They thought, so anyway, from as far as I can remember, especially with my family, I would go to this corner and I would just kind of dim down and suppress myself. Now I am out loud. I am proud of me, and I did not turn out gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you see what I mean? They just did something to me psychologically that I needed to fit their perception. I needed to be perfect. I needed to do I needed to go to college. You know, as soon as I got out of high school, I needed to be a straight A student. I needed to be this, and this. For them to be okay with who I was. Not me as myself. They wanted me to fit the version they wanted. Now, regardless of that, that's just, you know, that's how they were raised. No blame, no shame, no nothing. I see it for what it is now, and it doesn't, again, I don't take the coat off. You wear it, take it off. You understand that? It's part of the, I don't know, maybe third episode, where we try our emotions on, but we do not consume them. We take the coat off. So anyway, I failed a lot. And the outside looking in, they laughed and laughed and laughed. But let me tell you, are they laughing now? Nope. No, they are not. They're very quiet. They're wondering what I'm doing. They're wondering how I'm succeeding. They're wondering how these things are taking off. They're wondering how the podcast is, you know, growing all this momentum, because I post my weekly analytics, and I'm in 2 countries and 17 cities. That is so exciting for me. So I post it. I'm proud of my moments. I went on a weight loss journey, and I didn't even know what, all I wanted to do was feel better and eat better. That's it. I lost, 80 some pounds. I look fucking fantastic. That version of me was so just dimmed down, depressed. So anyway, I failed a lot, but I also had, in those moments of failing, I had a lot of things that really grew my character, really grew me as a person, really made me love myself to a whole nother level that I never could have imagined. I want to say something. There's that saying that I heard all growing up, and actually a previous partner used to tell me this all the time. You cannot love me until you love yourself. I never understood what he was saying, truly. I heard it and I was like, okay, yeah. I had no idea the amount of love that you can give to yourself when you love all the parts that you hate about yourself. I had no idea. But in all these times of failing and getting back up and trying something new and putting myself out there, I became a beacon of inspiration for all kinds of people. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was so tunnel vision. I was so focused on me. How do I create my dream reality? How do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get there? I literally did not. And after those first few times of trying and failing, I went like so tunnel vision, the entire outside world disappeared. That's how focused I was, because, I failed once or twice, and then I got comfortable in the failure. Like, oh, that didn't work out. Okay, that's fine. That just means it was part of my journey, and it all comes together at the end, right? Some way, some shape, some form. So, lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a shorter episode because I'm going on vacation with my kids. And I wanted to make sure I got on here and said a little something. Do not be afraid of the unknown. Do not be afraid of the uncomfortable. Step into it. That life, that dream reality, that's where I was going. The dream reality, the dream life you want, visualize it. Feel it. I want you to close your eyes, literally close your eyes. And I really want you to think, what does that life look like? What kind of car are you driving? What kind of house are you in? What kind of yard does, is there flowers? Is there rocks? Bear with me. What kind of, like I said, house, what kind of door, what color is it? I want you to go so deep into visualization. What kind of career is it? What do you do? That is a very powerful visualization tool where you just sit and you visualize all of these things. And this is exactly what I did. And it changed my life. I may not be there to my dream visual that I'm always visualizing, but when I tell you I feel closer to it than I ever have, because I'm actually taking the action, I'm actually gaining momentum to that reality. It's unreal. It is unreal. It may sound silly, like what kind of door, what color is the door? What's the windows look like? What's the Christmas tree look like? Like it's little things like that. But the more you go into that kind of deeper visualization, you're bringing it into your existence. You're bringing it into your reality. You're bringing it into your plane of existence. And then all of a sudden, things will start popping up of signs, synchronicities, messages, however, whatever you call them, that will push you in that direction. And you'll be like, how does this, don't worry about it. Don't worry how it goes in. You just have to step into that life. That life you want is there. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you. All you have to do is step into it. That may be leaving a job. It may be. I'll share an example really quickly before I get off here. I was pregnant with my youngest. I left my job. That was very stable, very, very stable, but it drained the living life out of me. And my life was a mess. I couldn't do it. That's really when I started to understand that the more I pour into me, the more I give to myself, as in this job it drains me, I gotta go. Something will come up. Something will come up, okay? And it did. So anyway, I'm pregnant. I have my son, my youngest one, and none of my kids have ever been in daycare and I only have 3. I said none of my kids like I have 10. My kids weren't ever in daycare till after they turned 1. After, I was very controlling in that area. I didn't want anyone around until they could talk, until they were more independent, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, my youngest was about 3 months old, and I did not have the resources, I did not have the stability, and I did not have the same family dynamic that I did with my older 2 sons. And it forced me to look for daycare when he was 3 months old. I was terrified. I cried, boohoo cried over it. And I actually refused and tried to find a different way, tried to DoorDash, tried to do all these things where I could take him with me. And that exhausted me. It literally drained me to a point where I had to break down one day and surrender. I had to give up what I thought was best, and I had to start calling daycares. Now, in that moment, I took a step into this new life, but I didn't know it at the time, okay? But I took a step into that new life that I surrender. I give up control. I do not know what's best. I'm not the universe. I'm not God. I'm done trying to control everything. If I'm being pushed, kind of mentally that nothing is working, I'm going to have to call daycare and set up a daycare for my youngest. That was the first moment I was like, I don't really, existence of life, God, universe, I don't really know what's out there, but if I'm being guided in this direction, it must be an answer for me. So I do it. I step into the life, right? But I didn't know at the time that was it. So when I step into it, guess what happened? He didn't have to go to daycare at all. I was able to find something where I worked senior care, and I was able to bring him with me. I would have never guessed that. But it's almost like I was put in a situation to surrender, to see if I was willing enough, if I wanted that life bad enough. You're going to be asked to do uncomfortable things that are not part of your plan. Was I willing to step into that new life? It's almost like that was like a first test for me. And I cried, and I started calling daycares, and I finally surrendered, and I finally let go. It didn't even happen. But I showed that I was ready, that I was not in control of, I don't know all the answers. You see what I mean? I let go. And that was the start, the very start of this almost like snowball effect that just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And now we're here, and I embrace change. I love it so much. I have moments where, I'm still in, the 3D reality where it's like, oh my God, what is happening? But I also have the mental knowing of this has happened so many times before. It's all right. I'll wear the coat of the emotions. We'll feel it, but we'll take it off, because what's coming, I have no idea. But every single time it gets better. Every single time it puts me on a different path. It puts me on a different closer to my dream reality. It all ties in all together, and every single time. So now I embrace it. Now I get excited for it. My perception has completely changed around, you know, uncomfortableness, around, you know, the unknown. It's completely changed. And so that's the whole point of this episode of what I really wanted to talk about. Embrace the uncomfortable period. Embrace it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but guess what? The more you move through that, the quicker you are to the dream reality, because you're saying, okay, I let go. This isn't my plan, but there's a way, and that life already exists. So what do I need to do to get out of the way? There you go. You've stepped onto it. New timeline, new reality, new dream, you know, dream life. I cannot wait to share that video one day, because I'm getting on a TED Talk stage. I'm getting that dream house where all my kids, again, only have 3, not 10, but they all have their own room. I mean, I cannot wait, because I feel it so deep inside my bones. Like this podcast and everything else that I am also doing, it's gaining so much momentum, and I never thought this was possible. Never, when I was the old version that tried to control every single little thing. So let go, surrender, and I will see you guys next week. Maybe I'll upload some videos, some shorts of while we're on vacation. You guys can see inside my life and my what we're doing, my fam and everything. So thank you guys.